Alrighty guys, we're sitting down with Daniel Chucky Sanders here, a well-known guy in the industry. Now there's a few things that I want to touch on with you that are a bit more serious. We're going to get to them at the end. First off, I want to mention how we know each other. So we went back to maybe 14, 15 years old, riding together here at the apple farm.
Probably back then.
Yeah.
When you got your license, because you got the New South Wales license and would roll down. I was still at school.
Yeah.
And it was a long time ago. We met at the AIS training camp, I believe.
That's correct.
And we kicked off there.
Yeah, yeah. Now you've always been a guy that liked to have fun. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I always run amok, sort of whenever. Being that little smart ass, I guess, as a kid, or just wanting to always push the limit with anything I did. So yeah, it was always fun times, and try to keep things fun, because it's always better when it is.
So there's a few things I want to touch on, because you took a different career path with how you came into racing, the way your dad held you back, you didn't take it too serious until a later age, so on and so forth, which I think that's really valuable for a lot of people to hear. But there's three things that come to mind before we get into the serious stuff when I think Daniel Chucky Sanders. One, Transmoto and your jocks. Two, you went to the 83 compound with the Lawrences in America.
Yeah.
And it was an absolute monsoon.
Yeah.
You rode your bike to it, that clip went everywhere. And the third one was at the MX Nationals in Broadford. Mm-hmm. When you ran top three, enduro bike.
Yeah.
Came out of nowhere. Tell us about those.
Yeah, look, the Transmoto was from when I was back on the KTM Australia Enduro team. I think it was my second year in as the factory rider. And yeah, last lap of the 12-hour Bateman's Bay, we just was, I don't know, I think there was some bet on, just because anyone told me to jump off a bridge and I'll jump. And then, so you just tried to impress and have fun and show off, I guess. So yeah. Luckily, the social media and the rules back then weren't too bad. So
there's a couple
the
of photos
last lap,
around.
I come out of the van just in my undies, knee braces and boots, and helmet and goggles and no gloves, and went out for the last lap. And the track was full brutal, and I was just swinging off the bike, passing all the lappers and that, and ended up having a crash just out of a riverbed and just slid up me on the side of my arse. So I had a nice graze there.
How's the undercarriage after that?
Yeah, not too bad. No, it's fine. Like, if you can do, coming from enduro, we do a lot of butt on the seat. We just sit down and twist the throttle, mate. So it's got a calluses on both arse cheeks.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. Yeah, did that, and then over at Lawrence's, back then, before it was a dog pound, it was the 83 compound, and trained there with them, and who else? Coop Webb, Joey Savacci, Bogle were there, and yeah, it was pretty cool, good experience. I was sort of stuck in that COVID period, so I was like, come home or sit over in America for 3 months and ride dirt bikes in the winter. So I was like, hell yeah, I'll go right over there, and rode through it'd have a thunderstorm. Everyone sort of pack up and go, oh, there's a storm. And I was just like, well, I'm here to ride. So
I think that was the thing that blew them away. They were all sitting there in the sheds, in the garages, undercover, and then out you go. Yeah,
they'd pack up and go home, and I'm like, I'll put some roll-offs on and just go ride. And I reckon I sucked a few litres of water through the bike, but it was all right. It kept chugging along.
Yeah.
And then, the third one, what was that one?
Broadford
MX Nats in 2019 or 18.
That was your first time you'd done a motocross national?
I did one in under 19s at one Faggy in 2013, I think, on a KX 250. And that was just learning curves, just something to do.
Yeah.
And then just want to do Broadford. It's close. It's close to home, and I sort of built the motocross track down the back, so I sort of came up with a bit more intensity, and I did a little bit of riding on a motocross track. I think went to Park 4 one time, and then I forgot who was riding there. Maybe it was Mosig. I was sitting behind him for a bit, and he was, top 5 back then. So I thought, and the boys like, shit, you're keeping up with him. And I was just like, I didn't even know who it was, because he'd come up with Blake numbers and all that. And they're like, oh, that's Cade Mosey. I'm like, oh yeah, sick. So then lined up and raced. Yeah. Got third in the first moto. Then the second one, I was sitting third. I didn't even have a whole shot button either. So I started full inside, because I'd already sort of rode that at a club day earlier that year, that layout. Yeah. But then they obviously prep everything up, and it's bulk traction, everything's sick. So
Yeah.
no whole shot button, and I was just like, it was uphill start. So I was like, why would you want your forks compressed when you're going up? You're not going to get traction and it's really slippery there on the start. It's not ripped. So I was like, yeah, I should be right. And then just ran it. And then you can see there's a photo of my front mud guard. Everyone's on a straight across the barrel. You can just see my mud guard like 150 above everyone else's. And anyway, I was second, I think, in both first corner and second corner.
Yeah.
There, so that was pretty cool.
So if you went to anybody at an MX National and said, don't use your whole shot button in this race on an enduro bike, they'd be like, you got no chance.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
It's just unreal. Like, it just shows that you're just on a motorbike, like outright talent.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's got to do with throttle control and clutch control. Like from doing enduro cross, you're on the clutch so much, and from when I used to ride 2-strokes, always hovering over the clutch. So I think I've got, and it's shown now with what I'm doing now with the technology we've got in our rally team. I'm by far the best guy on the throttle. Gotcha. I use the power where I know, and the clutch, like we can analyze all that now. So it's pretty cool, and I guess the 2-stroke helped a lot for that. But anyway, then the second moto, Clout landed on me because he passed me in a corner.
That's right.
And then he's gone around I think he went around the outside. I snuck back up on the inside. No, I went outside. He went inside. And going up that big, they had that triple at the end, and it was just fresh. I'd all cupped out before it, and I was sitting down, and because I was the back-to-back short motos, and I was sitting down, and I swapped out, because I passed him back around the outside, and then it's kicked me across his line, and then he's landed on my shoulder and snapped the bar mounts when the bike crashed. So that was a wild one. Then I tried to ride with one snap bar mount,
That's right.
it was spinning and the thing, and then they black flagged me or whatever it is. So. And then tried to fix the bike for the next moto, and then I think got 5th or something, but I was pretty banged up. Yeah.
Well, you certainly got the attention that weekend.
Yeah, no, it was cool because I felt like our enduro speed was pretty good those few years. Like our talent around the world was really good in Australia, and
I think that opened the eye to it, like how you to come straight out. Not even on a motocross bike, anything like that.
Yeah.
Line up, go top 3.
And then our paychecks came in a bit better after that as well. Because maybe the enduro guys are a bit better. So we got well looked after here in Australia at that time. So
yeah, awesome. So we're just fresh off Dakar, or 2-3 months removed. How'd that go for you?
That was a month ago, I think.
A month ago.
I'm still in the blur. Yeah, it was about a month ago I got home. So it was a wild one. We broke the femur last year. So as we all know, there was troubles with it healing. I snapped it pretty bad. 2 breaks. Bottom break around the top knee brace was a clean snap, and then the one up higher was a bit of a problem. It sort of like it peeled off like that, so it sort of healed like that, and it was like a centimetre gap. And then because they had 2 screws down the bottom, 2 at the top, and the rod, the nail, it was so rigid that it wasn't compressing, and that 1 centimetre never started growing or anything. So
gotcha.
After we were in Red Bull at the APC in Austria and all that, we took out the screws in like October, because we did that 3-4 months and nothing had started. So we're like 2 months out from Dakar, and I've still got a massive gap. I couldn't even ride or walk properly. So I was like, we'll pull the screws out and hopefully make it for the start line. So
how long did you have on the bike before the start of Dakar?
2 weeks.
That's not long.
No, after 7 months. I remember laying on the track when I broke my leg, and I was like, I got 8 months to Dakar, and then 6.5 months later, I'm in neck surgery, and then I had to wait another 4 weeks. Then I started to ride like 1 or 2 days a week, and then did a 2-week training block in America, tested, trained, and then 1.5 weeks off, and then fly to Saudi for the race. So pretty good.
Yeah, that's very impressive. You just reminded me, how did you break your femur? Did you ever figure it out?
Good question, hey? Some freaking alien got me on the... I must have gone through like Area 51 in Alice Springs.
Was it Bigfoot? Was it? What happened?
Yeah, it must have been something ran out in front of me and knocked me off.
Do you have any idea? Or
no idea. Well, I luckily had my GPS watch going, so I was riding my old rally bike up there because it was a Sunday. I was waiting for material and stuff because Alice Springs is something goes wrong with the bike, you got to wait a week or 2 weeks for it to come, and plus I was getting engines and stuff from Austria, and I was running the whole show myself and with a couple other guys, and bit of a headache. But anyway, I was like, right, I'm just going to go learn the track. I had like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks to go for the race, and we'll train and ready for the last big week of training. And went down to Finke on the fuel tank on the rally bike, and you could fuel up down the other end. It's got 34 litres of fuel.
Yeah, gotcha.
Cruised down and then fueled up. Met a few blokes down there they camped the night on the weekend, and they come back, but I just went up and back for the day. And I was actually making a road book for the track, so I had all the GoPro footage, and I was going as I filmed all the way down, all the way back.
Yep.
And then on the road book, I was marking down notes at each kilometre over dunes, which side to stay on, which side, what any hazards or notes to take. So then instead of me riding 5 days a week up there, I could ride, go home, and then go fast forward, like watch GoPro footage, or it's fast enough anyway.
Very smart. So you were just doing that for your own benefit?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And then I was going to sell it to people. Then I was like, all right, here, over this dune, jump over to the right, jump 4 or 5 whoops,
Yeah, gotcha.
4 feet of gear. So it was just a good reminder, because you could just note it all. Because it's got bonnets as you go down the track, so you know which K you're at. Plus on my bike, I've got the accurate kilometres.
Yeah.
So it's good to know which sections of whoops are bad, what's dunes, what's any sharp, if there's any sneaky rises.
Yeah.
So I was trying to do that so I could literally just watch it once or twice a day for my own benefit, because all the locals and people who've done it a lot could train it as much as they've done years and years, and I've been there twice. Yeah,
that's smart. You're saying like Formula One or Grand Prix, like they'll just study the tracks on a simulator before they go and actually race them.
Well, exactly.
So basically the same concept.
Up there, we're doing it's 230 k's down, 230 k's back, so you got to do both.
Yeah.
Like the rises will be the same, but then sometimes the whoops are steeper one way than the other, and
how much is that race just holding the throttle wide because you sort of know what's coming up and being scared and backing off because you're not certain? Yeah,
like the more you know the track and the better your bike setup is, it helps so much. Like, I think I went 20 minutes faster once I had my suspension sorted.
Yeah, right.
So the first week I went up there, and it just beat me to shit. Like I was riding, and Choice sort of had a rough setting what everyone was using up there, and I hadn't tested up there yet. And then I just slapped that in and rode it, and it just rattled me to bits. And then I was like, they came up and tested and sorted it out in one day, and then I went 20 minutes faster the next time, 30 minutes. So, and you can go up and back and not feel anything. Where if you go up on a crap setup, it's like, nuts. So I just fine-tuned it all and made it work.
So I've got no interest in racing Finke myself, because I have this idea in my mind that it's just who wants to take the most risk everywhere. Is that how it is, or you sort of...
No, not really.
Like if you had 5 riders the same speed, is the only difference going to be who holds it on, takes more risk?
Pretty much. If you know the track and don't back off, then that's where you're making up your time. And if you can, say if you have your bike set up better in the whoops and you can click one more gear and pull,
gotcha.
Another 10, 15 k's an hour, I think, and it's keeping it all safe, and track knowledge and race day is different because the trucks go in front.
Yeah.
Track's a bit different, but like, I don't know. It was something I had to go up and experience. I wish I got to race it, but never go up there and race it again. Like, I'll go up and ride it again because training wise was awesome. Speed for rally, everything like that. Confidence, like sick to ride. But it's 24-hour drive. Everything's double the price up there.
Yeah, gotcha.
Accommodation, food, fuel. You're blowing $1,000 a day just to go up and back with fuel and your hire car and that, because you don't want to smash a car down there. So a little bit of a overpriced race, I'd say. Like it's probably a bucket list thing for a lot of people, but it's not my favourite. It's not my favourite thing. Like I'd choose Hattah every day of the week over it.
Yeah, interesting. What's harder, Hattah or Finke?
Hattah smokes it.
Yeah.
I can go up and back Finke 5 days straight. So it took me an hour 50 go down and back training. Just getting that done, and then so that's just under 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I did that 5 days in a row.
Yeah,
There's no way you do Hattah 5 days in a row. You do it a week apart or like that, but...
Interesting fact about Hattah, I think I'm the rider that's done the longest race. I was the last rider on the lead lap, and then I was just knackered that last lap. There was vets riders past me, everyone. I was the last person to come in. I think it was 5 hours and 42 minutes.
Yeah, no. Hattah is definitely easily the most demanding physical race I've done. Like,
Yeah.
it's nuts.
Or
It needs a bit more worldwide recognition of how tough it is. Like, compared to those beach races and that, they're like 2 hours, maybe 3.
yeah.
But like Hattah, you get that first hour, it's not too rough, but because you got to focus the speeds and the whoops and everything, it gets worse and worse.
I wasn't sure if I got lost on the second lap. It went from dead smooth to like all these.
Yeah, everyone's just made new lines because they've overshot all the corners. They can't brake and they just go flying. So
Yeah, I couldn't believe it from the start to the end. How much that track change was pretty wild.
yeah, it's crazy what the weather does as well. Like one year to the next,
Yeah.
how dry it is or how wet it's been. So
Cool. So you were doing a pre-run at Finke, crashed, 8 months to heal your femur.
yeah.
Maybe what, 5-6 days on the bike, and then you're straight into Dakar.
Yeah.
Is that right? 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks onto it. Yeah, but one other crazy thing up at Finke though, when I crashed, so I went around at S-Bend, like the slowest part on the track, and that's where I crashed at 55 k's an hour. I had the GPS on, and then crashed there. I woke up on the ground. I met those fellas that were down the Finke end. They were there. Well, first off, I woke up and I was like laying on my side, pretty much literally like this, and I'm like, all right, my legs snapped. Like I knew my femur was done straight away, and I'm like, righto, got the phone out, no phone service, great. And I knew where I was, about 100 k's, so I was like, I know there's service around there somewhere. Couldn't get it, but then I forgot the SOS thing on the phone, so I messed that one up. And then anyway, blacked out again, and then woke up and there was 3 dudes around me, and I'm like, boys. And I'm like, what's happened? Because I was just out. I was sleeping. And then, woke up again and they were there. And I was like, righto, we'll snap the femur, let's get in a car. They called the ambos. So I ended up, I think the OBR boys picked me up in a brand new 300 series Land Cruiser. And I was
nice.
like, I'm getting in the front seat of that, boys. So
in comfort.
I was like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, let's get out of here. Because I'm like, I'm not sitting here. We're 100 k's, 130 from Alice. So we just got in a car in the front seat of that, and I was just holding my knee, like sitting in there. And then, because it was snapped there, but I didn't know it was snapped up here as well. So I had it there, and you could feel, what the bone on bone's like floating.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then we're cruising down, the boys are doing 160, 170 down the service road there. I was like, shit, yeah, we'll get there quick. Got to the hospital, and then that was, from a crash, would have been 2.5 hours since I crashed, and they still hadn't sent out an ambo.
Wow.
There's no helicopter support there. There was nothing. Like, you ring up, there's a snap femur, almost if you nicked your artery. Like, and with that break, it could have nicked my artery.
Yeah, for sure.
Been dead.
Yeah.
And then that's just one thing. That's the medical stuff up there. Like, hospital was good, everything like that. But the support there, like, you're so outback, they don't have a helicopter on call.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's like crap.
And during all this, your bike's laying on track, or
the bike, the boys just tucked around the bush somewhere, and Grabbo went and picked it up. So.
yeah, gotcha.
Anyway, that was that. So I was luckily those guys happened, but I don't remember, like, my helmet wasn't even that bad. Like, I think that's the helmet up there, and it's just all right hand side, everything, and then just blacked out from the pain, I guess, because I didn't hit my head that hard.
If you had to guess, outside of aliens and Bigfoot, what happened?
Just lost traction on the rear wheel and just spun out a couple of times, and
Yeah.
I think high-sided it. Bit strange though, because it was literally flat. There was no whoops there. It was just hard pack gravel.
Yeah.
I just lost the rear, and it's just gone snakied and threw me off, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, back to the old Dakar. A couple of days in, and just got into it.
So you said Hattah is much harder than Finke. How much harder is Dakar than Hattah?
Physically wise, like, you just get pain for one day there, but in Dakar you can have that for a few days going. So it is the biggest things, like fatigue on the bike and brain, mental, it's massive. Like this year they threw a spanner at us and did the 48-hour stage, and we did 5 hours. No, shit, we did 6. It was like 8 hours on the bike. With the brakes, we did, like 6 hours of racing in sand dunes, which is ridiculous.
What's it like going through them sand dunes? It's so hard. Like, I watch it on TV, I'm like, yeah, it looks cool. They're going up, they're going down. Like, but then I see one rider get swallowed up by one and over the bars. Like, how hard is it? Like, can you ride through them without sort of paying attention, or is it? No.
110%? Because there's nothing there, and if you're first, it's just full glare. Like, there's no line, you can't see any right at all. It's just glass. So there's no contrast to the dunes at all. And it depends on the wind, which direction you're going. So you got to use your compass a bit to say, okay, the wind's coming from this direction. So when you're going that degrees, they will be the steep and like, you know, different angles on different which way the wind blows. Yeah.
So that the actual dunes will change.
Yeah. So normally I think it's, I can't remember which way, whatever way the wind goes. Yeah. It'll blow off the sand, and normally it's softer on one side,
I see.
and then it's harder. But then you get a few peaky boys in there too. So
yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, she gets a bit wild in there. But yeah, and then there's soft pockets as well. So if you're in a different area, and it depends if there's been rain and lots of different things. But yeah, they're fun to ride in. But racing, it's not fun when you got the drops in there. Like I think this year we're going down these steep dunes. We're doing 130, 140 k's an hour. And then at the bottom, you go into like a salt flat. So it's just like a square edge.
Yeah.
And if you don't have hold up in your shock, it's just straight through your ankles, knees, legs, you know.
Yeah. So what's the pace when you're doing that? Like you can kind of, like say you ride a motorbike, it's 70, 80% effort. You can kind of go anywhere and do anything for as long as you want. But obviously you're racing the biggest race in the world. Are you 100% through there all the time?
You're full gas as fast as you can every day. Like when I first come in, Rally sort of like Pricey came in and brought the speed up of Rally a bit, and like he was the fastest dude there and made everyone ride that pace. Like obviously coming from the desert here and enduro, you have that Finke background, you go there, you're not scared of anything high speed, where everyone in Europe, they don't train it really. America, there's got a little bit of that, but nothing compared to what we can ride here. And and then I came in, and I come from obviously enduro and a bit of motocross training and stuff. So I was full gas with the desert stuff here as well. So I was just like, well, I'm just going to go as fast as I can for as long as I can until I fade off. And you can last, but there's always going to be that fatigue you're going to get. So it's just got to be more endurance and fitter. But I try and do like a cross country pace every race. If I feel good at some point, go even faster, but I sort of go off how I'm feeling and how the bike's handling, and what I always stay in my limit. So if I'm feeling good and comfortable, I will go full gas every day if I can.
So I'm trying to like make it in relatable terms. So say that pace you were running at Broadford back in the day when you're racing Cloudy and those guys, is it just that every day, like that level of intensity and effort, or a little bit below?
In some of the sand dune stuff, yeah, like sometimes you get the rest on the roads, like the gravel stuff where you can sit down and you're just drifting, but in the camel grass shit, it's full on.
Full berries.
Yeah, I'd have to look at my heart. I think one of my days was 160 for 7 hours. No, it would have been 8 hours. My average is 166 or something like that.
Wow.
Average. And that's with 2 breaks in that as well, not stopping. So I think that was that sand dune, like that 48-hour stage. We did that 8 hours was 166 average.
That's nuts.
And my max is like 198.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Like if people know their heart rates, like that's where it's at.
Usually you're not supposed to be in like zone 4 or 5 for very long.
I'm like, yeah, I was zone 4 for the whole Dakar in one of the days. But like,
zone 4 for 2 weeks.
Motocross, I'm zone 5 the whole time. But it's like you use the heart rate stuff as how hard you're pushing in your limit. Like I can tell if my bike setting's not right, if I can't push and my heart rate's down in even a 20, 30 minute moto, if it's like 140, 150, I'm like, nah, something's not right. Like I need something to motivate me if I'm not pushing enough, or the bike setup's not right and that's holding me back. So I always use that, because if I was doing my laps, even it's handy when you got someone doing your lap times. But if you're by yourself and you just want to do a 30-minute moto and you look down and you watch, you're like, I'm only cruising. Like there's something holding me back.
Yeah, it's a great way to hold yourself accountable, because it's a measurement of effort, isn't it? Yeah. So you know if you're trying or you know if you're not.
Like when I was in Florida riding with the boys there the first week, I just came off COVID there, so I was a bit crook, but my first moto was 190 the whole time. Like 190, and then it was sitting 195. Like that got my highest heart rate for 20 minutes there, and I was dead.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I hope people listen to this that don't race motocross but have an idea of heart rates. Because if you're trying to do that in like running or cycling or anything else, it just doesn't.
Well, I think Hattah was a good one as well. I think that's 4 hours and average was 176.
Yeah, right.
Something like that, yeah. For 4 hours average.
Nuts.
So, yeah, it's up there. Even 180, I'd have to look at them all again. Like, I studied each year and just to know where you're at, because it helps so much through training, and then you know your whole physical you know, preparation, what to do for each race.
Do you do like your resting heart rate?
Nah.
Nah.
I know what it was. Like, it's like one, at the moment, last 2 years, it's not where it is because I'm not as fit as what I was with the injuries, but it was like 130, like 38.
Having a coffee in bed, were you?
36. Yeah, it wasn't a coffee in bed, mate.
Yeah, shit, that's low. Yeah, very good. And so then how did Dakar go for you?
Shocking. Yeah, we struggled a lot. Not physically, but with our bike at the moment. So struggling a lot with that. Yeah, I didn't have much time testing last year, so we didn't have a reference bike from when I won in Sonora, the Mexico Rally. So that was in April. And then I rode, then I made some steps with the bike during the year, and then I rode it in Morocco for the photo shoot, but I still had, my leg was busted still, so I couldn't do anything really with it. And then rode in December with it, and then you got a 8-month period of not riding a bike, and you jump on a bike, and you never have that bike you rode last to compare. So it's like you're shooting blanks. You got nowhere to, you got nothing to hit.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you don't know where you're at, so you're just guessing yourself and go, I think we're going in the right direction. I think that's how it felt, this and that.
There's no like continual progress of.
You know, it's just like, okay, you go down there, but if I just jumped on that bike I raced last, I would have gone, this is a complete wrong way. Give me that, and I'll race, because I know you know what you performed on, and you know what it did then, and you rode it for 3-4 months from Dakar and then Sonora. There's 100 hours of riding on the bike plus, and then you know what that frame and everything does, and suspension setting, and then you go jump on this thing, and it's you're guessing.
Yeah, it's a point I probably want to make to the people at home a little bit, is that the requirements of like a factory pro top level rider, it's so minute. Like the things that can make a difference, the things that will change a bike, like it's so much more of a smaller window to hit. For the average rider, like if you hear a pro saying the bike wasn't perfect this year, or it is perfect, or it is or isn't, it's probably not going to affect the average consumer. Like it's...
No, it's not. Like we're so fussy. Like we're at the top end of the sport, like the 0.2% or 1.1%, 01, nearly, like of all the riders around the world. There's some riders that are really fussy and are looking for that little edge and that comfort and that confidence, so you can push that whole time, like I am.
Yeah.
And then, but for the average punter that's not hitting whoops at 150 k's an hour, 160, it doesn't matter if his shock's not set up properly or not. Like if he's just cruising through them at 80 and going, shit, hold on, bros.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. Like the harder you hit every bump and the more force through the bike, the more you're demanding and need from it. So the slower you hit every bump, the slower you ride. Like the bigger the window of what's acceptable.
Yeah.
Whereas the quicker you're hitting things and the more force and the more weight, it's like the smaller the window and the margin for error. And I don't think most people would really...
No, they don't. Like all the guys just doing it for fun. It'd be no different to us jumping on a wakeboard boat or something, like, oh, the wake's sick, and then a pro wakeboarder will come in and go, I'm not going to jump even the wake there. I couldn't even flip off that. And you're like, oh, well, you know, it's just everyone's got their own level, and where it's just like Formula One, like the top end of any sport. Even if you want to sit in an office chair, if it's not set up right for you, you're not gonna sit on it.
Like hearing Daniel Ricciardo complain about his Formula One car and then thinking, my car I drive down the street, it's not going to be any good.
Yeah.
It's just completely different.
Exactly.
Different
worlds, it's a wild one, but yeah, some of us are just fussy. You know, it's like you see it in the Supercross. You can see riders who are comfortable and not comfortable. And she's always like, I love looking at it because I can see who's struggling and not, just by watching how they're riding and what they're capable of.
You can definitely see trends when newer model bikes come out, and then the group of riders, whether they ascend or descend. And it's funny, I was listening to a Jorge Prado interview the other day, and he had some pretty choice words about the bike. He was just open and honest about it.
Oh yeah, he was real open. He was really open and honest. Old Prado pull the trigger there.
He basically said the new bike, because it's a new frame, new concept, isn't quite as good as the older bike. So KTM have gone through a big remodelling with their frames for 2024. Is that something you noticed at Dakar?
Yeah, so the guys in MXGP obviously don't have that rule like the AMA do about, what's the word of it? You know, they can have the works edition and all that factory edition stuff. Yeah, the homologation
So over
stuff.
there, they can change the frame, they can change the
Yeah,
thicknesses,
they can do
weld
anything.
things on, they can do
It's
whatever.
full factory over there. So any factory team over there can have 2-3 years advanced bike to what the consumer can buy, where America's all what they race that year is what everyone can buy.
I think they have to sell at least 100 units of a
Yeah.
bike to be able to race it.
Yeah,
something like
in
that.
America,
So it can't
yeah.
just be a custom
Yeah,
one of.
so that's where KTM will have their factory, Red Bull Factory Edition, Husky, and GASGAS as well, the Choi Lee one. And then, Honda do their works, and Yamaha, I don't think, do one. I haven't seen, but...
I don't think so, no.
And Suzuki must have. They just keep it they just keep dominating. Yeah.
Suzuki is still kickstarting. So
Yeah.
we won't
So,
put
you know what? They haven't done any development for how many years, and they're still winning races. What year is that model based off?
What's that?
What year is that model based off?
Suzuki, I think 2016.
I reckon even before that.
Yeah.
They haven't changed.
It's kind of like you do wonder every now and again.
Cosmetic stuff probably till then, but before that frame and then before that, did they even change?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I rode them in 2015, and I can't say I keep up too well on Suzuki's history.
Yeah, no, it's just crazy. Like, how many years ago is that? 16.
It is interesting
6,
though.
7,
You have
8.
to think just logically, you'd have to think at some point a bike will peak. It couldn't get any better.
Yeah.
Like the frame set up, the swing arm set up,
Yeah.
suspension.
Engine.
It's got to be pretty goddamn.
Yeah.
There's no new revolutionary things.
Yeah, she's wild, but look, KTM brought out that new frame and stuff for what's that model? I don't even know what it was. 22 factory edition was it or something? So those guys were riding it for a bit, and like Prado was pretty open about it all, and probably a little too open, I'd say. But it's good for the public to sort of listen in and hear our stories like that, and for him to be open about it was a bit spicy, but he probably got into a bit of trouble, I'd say. So yeah. But there's a lot of frustration as well coming from that. It's like we are right now. If you do a 14-day race, and that thing wants to buck you off for 8 hours a day for 14 days, how are you going to bite your tongue? Like, it's just like.
Sure. Yeah.
It's wild. It happens in every sport, every motorsport. Some bikes aren't good in MotoGP, some cars aren't good in racing. So it's just that time. Not everyone's going to have a perfect year every year. They got to, they just listen and have the right people, regroup and build something new again and develop. It's all about the future. So
yeah, you do see these trends, and I'll sort of lay it out a little bit, is that typically in the past, KTM's, they've had their motocross model frames and their enduro model frames.
Yeah.
The enduro models had 30% more compliance, so a lot softer, a lot more compliant, whereas the motocross models are a lot stiffer. For 2024, they've made the enduro frames the same as the motocross frames. And the reason they have said they've done that is because the more rigid you make a frame, like the more performance you can find. It's just smaller the window to set it up. So now everything else has to be absolutely perfect to suit that rigid frame. But in logic, they say there's more room for improvement because now we've got a more rigid frame. And it was funny, I read an interview by Fabian Gusta, who's the KTM off-road manager, I think. And he mentioned that at the start of these changes, like a radical change like the frame, usually the first year it might be a step backwards. But as the years go on, 4 or 5 years down the track, there'll be 10 steps forwards over time. And it does make sense because like you look at, say, Yamaha when they turn the engine backwards, no one wanted anything to do with them bikes. Like the first year model of those, even the first 2-3 years, it was a new thing. They were still developing it. They knew it had more potential in the future. But at the start, it was like, we've got a lot of work to do. And now, fast forward, what are we now, 8 years from the backwards motor? It's the duck's nuts. It's what everyone wants. So
yeah, she's it's a wild one, and I'd love to be a part. Even now, like to be a part of the R&D, but
it's so interesting.
Just to have someone, just to actually have say and listen. Like you're at top end, and the guys that are doing the R&D, I'm pretty sure Prado said in that interview, they're not racing, they're not going as fast as what we do. So how they're not hitting everything, 20% harder than we are. So we're gonna feel it a lot more than what the average guy's gonna use, and it's gonna affect more. So I think the frame, like, it's obviously cost effective having the enduro motocross one the same, and also our rally one's pretty similar. But I believe that they always had that enduro, even the enduro frame they were using for motocross in America back then. And for Supercross, they would adapt and weld plates in this and that to make it more stiff. With back in like 19 on that old frame they were running. And then now it's so stiff, they're finding ways to try and loosen it all off again.
So they've gone too far, and it's...
Yeah, like it was a massive step, but now, yeah, I think it's probably a bit too much. And look, they've that new factory edition, they've already made gains, and they're still working on the next model, whatever number of year it's going to be. But you know, they've gone that too far, and then that's where you got to change your suspension as well to adapt to it. New swing arm, there's new linkages. Yeah. Like it's a whole new bike. Like it's the biggest step I've probably seen in KTM since I've been riding them, I think.
It is a massive change, yeah. Like it's frame thicknesses, it's gussets, it's geometries, it's the whole 9 yards, yeah. Yeah,
like the whole ergonomics of it, like sitting on it, you think, yeah, it's sick, but when you come off, obviously when it's stiffer, you're getting so much more feel through the bars, the foot pegs, the seat, everything like that. And that's where you got to try and find the happy spot and figure it out.
And again, yeah, it's interesting. Like they could have made it perfect for the average consumer.
Yeah.
But just at that top high end, when you're really pushing it, that's where it'll show up. Its
exactly. And it's new for the whole team as well. Like you're working with the suspension guys, mechanics, and it's a new package. So you got to almost go back and try all the old things that you probably tried on the old bike in different directions, and test and fail and find out which way it works. And that's the thing. They've probably got all the information from the last year on an older bike, and then coming to this, and they think, oh, yeah, no, that won't work because we've already tried that. But you got to go and fail on some things to know what's going to work. You know, delete it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you don't have that backlog of data to say today it's too stiff, we'll do this. Tomorrow it's too soft, we'll do that.
Exactly. So
yeah. No, it's interesting. Very cool. So you'd have to say a frame makes the biggest impact on a bike, yeah? And everything.
I didn't think that until this bike, yeah.
A few welds
and like
steel.
I think frame definitely, because suspension you can tweak, like you can adjust. Frame and then engine, you know, all the 450s are pretty damn fast these days. I think the one that separates every bike is the frame to start with.
Yeah.
I think definitely on the chassis.
Yeah. Which is not the easiest thing to make changes on.
No, it's not. it's got to be right from from before they pull the trigger and sell them all. So it's which is and you know every brand's a bit different. Like with the steel frames that KTM, GASGAS and Husky are running to what the Japanese are running. So there's a lot of difference between these two, and they're both super close on the top end of the racing.
That is wild. They'll change from year to year, like tiny little changes, but they're two totally separate. What did Triumph end up doing? Because they got one of each, and they basically went to see what did they think was best. This was Carmichael.
They pulled all the good bits from everything, I think. Yeah. So it looks, it'd be interesting to see.
Looks like more of a KTM than a.
Yeah, it's like it looks like a Honda sort of frame and that, and then I don't even had a good look at the engine, but then it's like got the Brembos and looks like a KTM swing arm, and a lot of it looked like bits and pieces from bikes.
Yeah.
How it looked, and then they've sort of just tested everything and made it happen. But then Ducati's going to be another one, good one to look at too, to see how it all goes.
Yeah. So we'll segue off from Dakar. Wasn't the greatest for you?
No, it wasn't. It sucked a bit, but I still had a broken leg going in. Like the X-ray before, it was still, I think it was 8 mil gap going into the race in the bone, and now it's like 5 or 6.
For the average human, you're still at home on workers' compensation.
100%. Like I only just went from my first run this week, and I was like, it just felt good to be able to run. But you're in pain, but it's like, you forgot how good it feels. Like just getting out and doing something without pain. Like it's going to be a good year, like until May this year for me to hopefully be back. It's still another 3 months healing. Like the bone, that's wild. It's nuts.
And you see your own limit in progress because you're obviously not training, you're injured, you're healing up. But while you're doing that, everyone else is still training. So they're not just going to be where they were when you come back. They've also progressed, and you're going to catch yourself.
Well, maybe maybe they've progressed.
Maybe.
I don't see many progressing. I see a lot of people just sitting around and.
Yeah, what's your thoughts?
There's not many people. I've travelled around a bit now and seen some riders, and there's not many riders that actually pull their finger out and get it done.
Yeah.
They don't want it.
Yeah.
They don't want it. So it's interesting. You can see in a character in a person of who wants it and who doesn't.
And by wants it, you just mean pure effort, working hard.
It's not effort. It's I see people come out and put effort. Well, what they say, they come out and do their structured training program each week. Yeah, we'll do. I'm doing 15 minutes today, 3 motos at that. I'm like, all right, cool. And then they'll crash and then turn around and come back and kick their bars, straighten it up, and then stop. And I'm like, that's not an effort, mate. Like you finish, your bars are bent, twist them, straighten them up if you can there, and finish your moto. Like it's just, it's no different to watching like The Last Dance. You look at Jordan and what he did, and yeah, I've always sort of seen that and sort of had just till death kind of thing. You just keep pushing until it's over, something breaks or you break kind of thing. And I don't know. It's just wild. I don't see it very often racing. I can see both Lawrences have got it. You can see Jet, his attitude about it all. Webb, when I was hanging around him, you can see he's got it. And you can see these guys that want it and where they're at. And not just on the bike and training and that. You see how they've mentally focused on, and you hang around them and you know how their brain works and that they're the real deal and they want it.
So it's like a mindset where your entire life is just every single thing I can do is to be better. Yeah,
and it's just like you never settle as well. It's just like, you're at the top and you're like, what's next? And you go, I got to improve on this and this. And you don't just go, I've won a championship now and just throw the towel in and just cruise around and hope for the best. It's like some people work like that, some don't.
Yeah,
you just got to keep striving for it all. And that's what happened in 2019 when I won the Aussies that year outright and all that, and then won the 6 day. And the 6 day was like the only one thing I wanted to win in enduro in my career, and I won it. And then that a couple months later I broke my wrist on the Supercross track on the enduro bike. Went over the bars, did the Superman, and then had that fracture for 6 weeks, and then started the Aussies in 20. And I didn't have that motivation like I did, because that's where I wanted to do some motocross rounds, like do some more MX Nationals, because it was something else, I had that result and I'm like, I think I can go podium at the MX Nationals every weekend. If I can get the support and the bike, I'll go do it because I know I had the pace.
Yeah.
So I was going to plan on do that year. But then, COVID hit and that threw a whole spanner in the works. So changed career path, and that's where I was going to go, okay, I need to do GNCC in America racing, or I'd go to rally.
Yeah.
And then when you weigh up contracts and stuff and you can still live at home, and America's like a whole shift and that as well. And I'm like, well, it's a good opportunity for rally, and weighing up money and career path, I just went, I'm going rally.
Yeah.
Give it a crack. Because I want to do more desert stuff as well.
So we'll get into that, but I want to go back to what you said, there's not that many people having a crack. I totally agree with that. There's a lot of people that want to appear like they're having a crack.
Yeah.
Or they want to have the structure that they're having a crack.
Yeah.
Or they want to talk like they are, or think that they are, or whatever it is. But when you dig into it and you really look, it's like, what is the output? Like, what are you doing every day, and what's the only thing you care about, and how bad do you want it? You don't see too much of that old school, just get it done. There's a lot of, I don't know, it's just a lot of talking about doing it, but not actually doing it. It's like,
there's a lot of talkers.
Stop fucking thinking about it, stop talking about it, stop showing it.
But yeah, they'll go do it. And like I said, their heart rates won't be anywhere near their race pace. And then they'll go to the race and pump up, and they're like, oh, I got pumped. And it's just like, but, it's like, just got to freaking grind. If you want it, you got to go for it.
It's amazing. You don't realise how hard you can go until you really just fucking do it.
Coming to Gutser and spewing up on the cycle, running anything. It's like...
This is actually why they do Hell Week in the Navy SEALs, because they say you can push your body 80% further than what your mind will think you can. So you'll get like, the hardest you think you can possibly go is like 20%.
Yeah.
And then if you're forced, like if it's life or death, there's a whole another 80% there to...
Yeah, it's like holding your breath underwater. It's the same thing. They reckon you can last... You got that much oxygen in your body, you can hold it for however much. It's about training your mind and your body to to accept it and keep going through that. But yeah, it's 100%, and like that's where like that Navy SEALs and that SAS stuff, like those dudes that have done that, it's like that's like inspiring, and that's how I sort of think of it in motos. Is like there's not that percent of people out there, and that's where they come across as like a professional athlete. Like those dudes are the top tier in that, and putting their lives on the line and have to. And then you got to come across that as all sports. Like a lot of sports people have gone into that as a career path if they didn't get through in the Olympics or something. But they had that mindset to go off and apply and do that and have all those skills and get more skills from that as well, because they had that mindset to go, I can be the best of something and go do it. I think it's so underrated here in Australia.
It's like exceptionalism. It's like not accepting anything other than the absolute.
Yeah.
This was the best I could ever do, like the best version of myself, or output, energy, whatever it is. It's just max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. You see a lot of training programs and.
Oh mate, I didn't think last time I had a training program.
5 reps, 6 reps.
You just know what you need to do. Like we went to the RAS camps and all that, and you get all the paperwork and it's like homework, schoolwork. You're like, here's your structured program. I'm like, righto. But like here at home, I'm like going off the weather. I'm like, all right, I'm going to ride as much as I can today.
Absolutely.
It's primo, so I'm going to do 3 hours on the bike, whatever, and full gas, just burn fuel. And then if it's raining or whatever, I'll go down the footy club and go train with the boys. And even during winter, it's like the lights are on down there. You can run laps, kick a footy, get contact sport, try and stay away from the injuries. And it's just like, you just got to make the most of each situation and what you've got. Like I've been lucky enough to grow up where I am here and got a heap of land and stuff to ride on. And my dad was into bikes and racing. So it just, it was all in front of me, but no one pushed me to go get it.
Yeah, well, I do want to touch on that. And so I was trying to dive into your mindset a little bit there, where it's go hard, win. That's it. Yeah. And where I believe that come from is you had a really different upbringing with your approach to racing. Whether it was intentional or not by your dad, I'm not too sure. But you basically loved bikes your entire life, but you weren't allowed to race until you were 14. You could ride with people that race. You could go to races and watch, even here on your own property.
Yeah.
But you were held back from racing until 13, 14.
Yeah.
And even then, when you did get to go and race, it's mismatching gear. You're on your brother's second-hand bike. If you're doing this, it's because you desire it, you love it, and you're going to do it 110% effort.
Yeah.
It's not dad's pushing you on, here's the gear, do you want to race this weekend?
I guess growing up, like I always wanted, like dad had a bike and he used to race, he had the trophies, everything was there. Yeah. He had the tracks. I didn't really understand what we had until I've travelled around and understand what I've got now here. It's insane. But yeah, like growing up, I didn't get my first bike, JR80, until I was 8. Right. So I started riding then. Kids are riding at 2, 3, 4 now. It's nuts. So
talk about like the mindset side of that, of being held back, and then when you finally did get it, you didn't have what everyone else had. You were always sort of...
Oh shit, was I?
No, I mean like in terms of like, you didn't have brand new bikes.
It humbled you, I guess, a lot, and it wasn't handed to me, so it wasn't like I had to work for it. I had to be a good kid, so then Santa would bring me a bike. It was so much coming up here, growing up on the farm, and it was like when they had the apple farm, it wasn't it's not like they're printing $1 million, so it's like everything was worn down to until it broke, then fix it or buy something new for it. So growing up and seeing that and how the whole family was worked, it's did just humble me back. And it's like, you don't need to, especially looking back now, you don't need brand new helmet every year, brand new boots every year, pants, jersey. I was riding on that first bike was work boots, tracky pants, and I got a first no fear jersey. So it was just literally no fear on me, and I was the baddest kid around the apple orchard. Just having that, and I was so hungry to get a bike because you had the trophies there. I wanted to compete. I was already competitive in any sport I did. Hated it. Like I always got picked on at school because I cried from losing basketball grand finals or tournaments, and I was always second or never winning, and I hate it, and I still hate it to this day. Even if it's a freaking board game or anything competition, if I lose, I freaking lose it. Like I crack it. turned into a sourpuss, mate. Like, I hate it. Even just anything, and you got to just try and swallow it up. And I think like that's probably why I've been able to do what I can do, because getting beat and going from like team sports and that, where it's on other people as well, where you surround yourself with yourself and it's all on you.
Yeah.
So that's where I like that individual sport and racing, but you don't need all the bling gear to go fast. You can roll up like on anything, and just if you got that mindset of wanting it hard enough to just, I don't even know, like every couple of years I had that next goal, so it was just ticking them off and chasing it and wanting it. So just dedication.
Well, yeah, there's sort of three things you kept touching on there. You got to earn it, you got to want it, and hungry, and that's what you had. And then from say age 16 to when were you the fastest rider in Australia? Would you say by age 20?
20, yeah.
20. So in 4 years of taking it serious, you went from second-hand bikes, old gear to.
Yeah, well, I think when I started
to be the quickest ascent from
like I think we just did club days in 2007, which was I was in year 7, so I started racing in high school. Watched my brother and cousin, my mates race, and then 15 on the 125 when I was riding my brother's old race bike, and I was like, so was that 2009? I was riding, and I think that was like one of my brothers. It was my first KTM as well, which was a 2006 American Graffiti 125. So I was racing that in 09, and I beat like one of the he's the fastest junior enduro rider in Australia at that moment, and he was from Victoria, old Alex Stevenson, and he like someone I didn't even know, because the race was at the orchard here at our farm, so it was an enduro, and I was riding around, and Dad didn't tell me times back then or anything. Just go out and do what you do and come back, and everyone was like going up to Dad like, he's just beating this kid and he's a freak, like what he could do, and he was beating half the seniors, everything, and like he needs to come do more of the Vic rounds. So then from then on I did some Vics and finished second or third that year from missing 2 rounds, and then from then on it was just like that was the next step. Like I was winning all the club stuff and went to there, and then I was 15, 16, and then 4 years from there you're on a team, and you go on the seniors, and then that's the next step, and then you push to get that.
So looking at those results, you think it's very unlikely you're going to end up where you were, but I was fortunate you and I used to ride together a bit. We'd come here and train and ride, and you worked harder back then than 99.9% of pros today. Like, I don't see any pros, just to give a story, like you were freezing old orange juice bottles in the freezer into ice and then put them in the bath so we could have ice baths this is 15 years old.
And that's probably in the winter too.
6 a.m. we're at Mount Donabung, it's bloody snowy and it's frosty, and it's, up
Black Sands there, up the old track, riding before school.
Cycling up to Mount Donna.
Oh yeah, Donabuang,
Donabuang, it's like, this is all at 15. You were working harder then than, I'm going to say nearly every pro today, or everyone from 20th to say, let's say 5th today. Yeah,
I guess I sort of printed my own pathway, because it's like, you always heard of the old tales of, like Shane Watts when he used to race, and how he trained, like just cycled, swim, ran, took 20 litres of fuel out to the bush, ran it till it was dry, then got enough to get home, and like if he finished around a track, ran out of fuel, then he'd push it around the track until it's done, like, just all those hard-earned sort of stories. That was sort of like, I want that, like I want to feel pain, I want to have that, suffering, because I don't know, I just like that and strive off it. So like I just thought that's what you had to do to make it that far, and at the end you don't see it really paying off. Like you ride a bike, and back then I think it was a lot of my bike skill which sucked. I was easily the fittest because I was doing every sport on the planet during the week, and then riding dirt bikes and racing on the weekends. So it was, I don't know, it was just all my decision on what I wanted to do, how I wanted to spend my time. I didn't have a phone until I was 18, so all through high school. Got my first phone when I got a car in 2012, so it was, we were on computers back then. There was no Instagram to scroll through and waste 3 hours a day. So it was just all what I wanted to do, and sort of give it a shot, and you know, you only live once, so why not?
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
give it a crack. Like I saw you in that opportunity, and I gave myself till I was 21, 22 to make it. Otherwise, I'll go off and figure out what I want to do.
Yeah, yeah. I just think it's awesome for anyone listening, like especially junior parents or kids that they're getting the brand new bikes, they're doing all these things like racing every single weekend, and this is the path to make it. It's not. It's not like having all the shiny objects. It's putting in the goddamn work.
Yeah.
And wanting it.
Yeah, your kid's got to want it. There's no point pushing them. Like,
yeah, but like all these fancy programs, and like, like you got to have a guide. You got to have some sort of like, you know, direction. Like you got to get some advice from a professional. You had Shane Watts.
Yeah. I had Watts. He was in 2011, I think. But I never went to a coaching training day. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's just racing. You want to get better, you beat the stopwatch.
Yeah.
That was it. And there was some basic ruts. It was like you need to work on braking control. He goes, we'll do a figure eight, and you just ride the figure eight, get faster and faster, braking, cornering, all that. And it was always just the lap time, just beat it if you want to get better. Because I didn't really have anyone to ride with sometimes after school or that, so I was just go ride and get used to it. But yeah, you don't need everything. The kid's gonna want it, and they'll show you if they want it. Like it's good fun still going racing and doing that, but don't push it unless the kid's really got to want it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You got to make a decision. It's just like, am I all in or am I just doing it for fun? Which I'd probably recommend more doing it for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like being all in on it, it doesn't work for many. It's a lot of work and you sacrifice everything. If it does work off, it's great. It's awesome. But
yeah,
don't get confused between the two.
The percent of it all happening and to, you know, make the distance, it's like, it's freaking rare. Like you look, Chad, like for motocross, supercross, there was like Reedy, Burner, and now look at the gap until like the Lawrences, like to make it to the top.
That top tier, yeah.
Like there's been plenty of riders go over and race, like Ty Simmons. He's probably a good example. Like he started super young, had all the talent in the world, got to there and was done. He was 17 or 18 racing in America on the J-Start team or whatever he was. And, you know, he was like, oh, I think I'm done over here now. Come back, go work out bush and come back enduro racing. Did it for 2 years and was done and focused on what he wanted to do.
There's a lot of stories like that. Like you can go for days on the ones that started young, really young, racing competitively, won championships, burnt out by 16, partying by 17, 18.
Girls by 18.
Yeah, it's like and then you see the others like yourself. God, you can go. Jeremy McGrath's a great one. Didn't ride until he was 14 years old. Where they really hit the bootstraps at 16 odd. And
I think it's hard this time in the world, but like kids that are going from Australia racing at 50 in Loretta's or 60s, like what are you just blowing cash for? Like, okay, it's sick to take your kid over there and do that stuff, but it's like probably a bit much. Like I wasn't even riding then, like, but if that's just the family pushing and wanting it hard, but I don't know, like I think you can, until you get to a certain level, you gotta kill everyone in your own area first. I think like start from where you are. You beat all your mates, okay? Then you go racing. You beat all those the people at the club level. Okay, we need to find more competition. Go to state. You beat everyone at state. Dominate. Okay, let's go to the Aussies. I never left the state until I was 19 to race.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I think 18. No, I didn't. Yeah, didn't leave until 19. It was my first race in Queensland when I was 19 or 18, turning 19. So after that, because Dad's like, you're not winning in Victoria, so why would I go spend $1,000 to go drive to Queensland or New South Wales to go get your ass kicked? It was just like, until you're better here and you're winning, then go over. Then obviously we're like second, and then to get sponsors, you had to go race and do the Australian rounds, like to go do that, and that's where I was at that level then. And then you start getting that outright, because if you're not in that top 10, you're not going to get a ride and get it as a job. So yeah, it was just how it worked, and it's smart. Like I did the exact same thing to my kid. It's
an awesome philosophy. It's like, if you want more, well, you got to go work harder, and then you'll get more, and then work harder, and then go again. And it's not like, here's everything and let's try and work hard now. It's like you had to grow in with your opportunities,
Yeah.
basically.
Well,
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I reckon the first time I went out of the state ride and Bobby was freaking going to Canberra for the AIS. That was like
Yeah,
2010.
true.
That would have been it.
Yeah.
I was so out of my comfort zone. Like actually traveling with a bike and everything I think I was with Alex Bolton. We drove up from his joint all the way to thing, and I felt like I was on the other side of the world, meeting complete new riders. Everyone's got all new gear, and I was literally there with the oldest bike. I think I had a 200.
Yeah, you used to have like a black untucked jersey and you had the Over Armour and
yeah, 100%. And I was there with all the motocrossers that had got full Fox kit deals, all free bikes. They got 2 spare parts. Their dad's there spannering for them, and I'm there just hitching a ride with old Al Bolton. And we were 2 enduro fellas there just having a crack and experiencing it all. And I was just like, wow, everyone's looking at me going. And then a couple of years later, you see some of those motocrossers just throw the towel in, like, they didn't, an MX2, and they're the most talent coming up and then done. And I was like, it's crazy.
Yeah, peaked too early.
Yeah, but and expected so much, and then I guess they didn't want it in the end. If they wanted, they would have kept cracking on, but they just threw it in, and injuries or just no motivation. That was it.
Yeah. So we figured that you don't need to spend all the money and do all the races and have all the shiny parts from a young age, but you do need to work hard. Yeah. You mentioned skills. Bike skill.
Yeah, bike skill, like, I'm pretty sure you could remember me jumping back in the day.
Look,
the
front wheel was quite often higher than the back wheel.
I didn't know there was a rear brake to tap. So, look, I didn't. It was like that intent. I never had like a motocross track to ride. It was only grass track and through the trees. Yeah. Dad was like, jumps just cause injuries. And like up at Black Sands there, I used to have the freestyle ramps. Like my cousins were all older, and then they had like that half supercross track there. And sort of that's where I started jumping when I was on a bigger bike. And
I just remember you going long, front wheel high.
Oh, it was just OJ everything with the softest suspension too, enduro setup, which was just standard, but it was soft as.
Yeah, gloves didn't match.
Nah, it was just whatever didn't have a hole in it that day, or if mum was stitching me pants back together or jerseys or whatever. So. Yep. Yeah.
But working on bike skill, like you used to have the figure 8 rights, you had the circle rights,
yes.
you had all that stuff.
Yeah, I think that. And then like when I got to do a couple Watsy skills, like it wasn't like go out and do lap times and that, and just it was breaking down all the fundamentals of like your skill, and you really found your weaknesses from doing slow wheelies, stoppies, sliding, drifting, like just around cones, your figure 8s, your rut tracks, how low you can go to scrape your bars and all that. Like sliding on logs, hitting logs, like just breaking it all down, and then finding out where you suck, and you go, all right, I really suck at slow wheelies. People can scrape their rear mud guards, and that's all clutch throttle control, body position, your stoppies, your front brake, and all that, and it all helps going into a rut or doing a wheelie over a log or going a wheelie into whoops, or you got to wheelie a square edge or something. It's just all that linking together, and that's where breaking that down at his school, and then because we did the school here, and then all that was in the back paddock, so I was like had everything there dialed and just kept working on it, and that's where I sort of started working on that from 2011, and being a bit slack on that skills now, but until 2015, 16, until I was dialed with it all, I had it until then. I still had the rut track, which was good. Because you could get a lot of bike setup from that as well, how your suspension would hold and suck into a rut without it unloading or being balanced. So, yeah.
And then from there, you've worked with like Red Bull Australia. You've been, Red Bull, was it Switzerland?
Austria.
Austria is. Yeah. So they do a lot of off-bike training and that, like they're very well set up in that department. You've mentioned all the bike skill stuff. Rate the level of importance of all the off-bike training versus what you just mentioned then with the bike skill.
Right. Now, bikes 80%. Bike skills, endurance on the bike 80%, 20% is all the other. Now I look at it.
So if you're training, you've got 10 hours to train, you're spending 80% of it, like 8 hours on the bike doing skills.
Moto skills, intense, like doing that fitness side on that if I could, until like that's how I do it now. Until you had to maintain like your rehab and injury or something like that. But I think once you get your base right, like your endurance, like going cycling, like I was doing that mountain twice a week, which is 3 hours. Then I was probably still working then and riding motos and all that. Then doing a gym, like a light weight session or something, just trying to get my overall strength right, and where I'd struggle on the moto, I'd pull that away from the moto, go, all right, the bike's getting away from me out of the corners, I need to work on my back and shoulders and make sure I'm pulling it right into my chest so I'm not slipping back, or my legs as well. I think when I started cycling, it helped a lot with my leg strength and that endurance, because we're doing 3 hours on a bike and she was just, your legs would fatigue and burn out. And then when I started to learn how to ride sand, legs are burning. So I'm like, right, I cycle something else without having that risk of crashing and injuring yourself. Go off and cycle for 3 hours.
So like all off-bike training is just to fix a deficiency on the bike,
yeah,
basically?
100%, yeah. Everything like that was...
Can't be bothered riding, so I'm going to go lift weights.
Well, you're done riding or something, or it's the weather's crap, so it's like, all right, what can I do? I can go indoor cycling, or go running go down the footy train, like just trying to cross over training as much as you can to make it fun, or go mountain biking with mates, or, you know, not many people want to go grind and cycle for 3 hours unless it's, you know, I rode with some good cyclists which could go do that, and then they'd be on that next level of cycling, and then that gets me to chase them kind of thing. So I was always chasing whoever was better than me, go work out with them or do that with them.
I remember I always thought I was fit, and then we rode up that Mount Donner and you were doing circles around me.
Yeah, I think we come back and loop back down again. Yeah. But like, yeah, it's
like, geez, this guy likes pain.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, but everybody's different. Like it's just like, for me, it's all about the moto. It doesn't matter about this. It all helps. Like, I've got an unreal endurance base somehow from, I don't know if it's generics of whatever I did as a kid, just licking acid and running around flat out. I don't know what I was doing out here. Must be something in the apples.
Something in the apples, yeah.
Or licking batteries, I don't know. Little zap.
I may have a present for you later. It might have been that, actually.
What, an apple?
No, something else. You're a big fan of it when you were younger.
Shit, I know.
Do you have any fear of burnout?
Of burnout?
Going too hard, retiring early, getting over it?
Not really. Like Dad did, I think, when he was, but he stopped at like 26, 27, like young when he was racing, and he was still like a top enduro guy in Australia. So it was like, and then you see like obviously Carmichael stopping, Stewart just you know, dropping it out. So I think how my brain works, the competitiveness doesn't see burnout, but I've had stages of like, if I don't have a goal, I lose all the motivation, like, and that's where coming in like to that COVID year when I already won the 6 day and completed everything in that's where I started really looking at the desert stuff. So I was going to start doing Finke and Hattah that year again and focusing more on that desert racing, because that was sort of what I was more passionate at doing. And then that's when obviously the rally stuff came over, and I was looking for a new goal and a new drive, something to drive me.
Yeah. And
that's where the Dakar stuff rolled up, and I was like, well, that's going to get a small fish in a big pond there, and that's what I launched into. So like even now with the injuries and that, it sucks. Like 2 years straight, I think I've done 8 months last year off the bike.
Yeah. And
the year before was 7. So there's not many days riding. I probably still rode more than most riders here in Australia. Like I think the Dakar is just in alone is like 80 hours on the bike.
Hours, yeah, wow.
So,
88 hours on the bike.
Yeah.
Far
2
out.
weeks. So yeah, she's I still get bike time, but you lose so much, like your strength, your fitness, your riding technique and that's where you got to grind for 1-2 months to get back. But yeah, the burnout, I've sort of freshened up again, but it's more like not having that support of having a team supporting you with a mechanic and doing all that stuff, where here it's just like your bikes roll up, you want to go do a race, it's all on you now. So it's just like, it's massive headache to go organise all your parts for a bike, build it all, go train with it all, and then have another bike for motocross, have another one for enduro. I've got 6 sets of suspension I own that I had to buy. So I've got supercross, motocross, enduro, and then 2 desert settings, and then a floating set. It's like, go blow 35 grand, 40 grand on suspension just to have there for your enjoyment and your training. Because I want to make sure everything's spot on to go ride. Because if you're on a supercross track, you know what you need to ride a supercross. Yeah. And then motocross, you obviously want that. You can ride a bit of enduro on the motocross stuff, but you want something. if you want to spice it up with the boys and have no excuses, you need a motocross setting, and then enduro for roots and all that.
What are your thoughts on doing seat bounces with enduro suspension?
Pretty good until you slip up and like you're on the bottoming the shock every time you seat bounce. But if you're not in that right position, it's not good. It doesn't.
Didn't end too well.
No, it doesn't end too well. It ended a lot better than I expected to. Like it could, if I didn't hang on, that was gonna hurt.
Yeah, I thought it was game over.
Yeah, I thought it was arms, legs, knees, everything. If I let
Then
go.
I seen you on a rally bike, jumping on the finish line.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with the rally bike stuff because done that. Like it's once you ride one and you do enough time, it's the same as anything. You ride a bike for long enough, you know what it's going to react and do with stuff.
Well, the frames are a bit more rigid now, so you might be able to hit the whoops and.
Well, I'd literally hit it on that other bike as well. I wouldn't hit it on the new one, but I'd hit it on the old one.
Yeah.
If I got the suspension tune, I'd hit the whoops on it, no stress.
I need to see a video of that.
Yeah, well, when I'm not injured and I can actually get me suspension dude, Gilesy, to sort out the suspension, he'll do that on the Supercross setting, but it's literally like, I've got one set here, so it's like, pull it all down, set it all up for the whoops, video it all, then strip it back and change it again. So it's like a lot of effort for one film.
Yeah, no,
one take,
sure.
but
and what you mentioned about like the logistics and the back end of all the bikes going to races, the injuries, like the downside you'd say of the sport, like that's just straight up what burnt me out. I'll say it right now.
Yeah.
And it's 2-3 years of that compounding, and eventually you're like, fuck, there's probably better ways to spend my time.
Yeah,
if it all went perfect, training, riding, beautiful weather, bikes are always there. It's like it's the best life in the world.
Yeah,
sure.
it's
but
unreal.
some things are out of your control, and it is what it is.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've come from having everything so, and some of the other rally guys probably don't know so much or care so much because I come from enduro and as a factory rider, or the best rider in the world, it'd be like bringing any top tier rider across to a sport and you'd know what you've had and what you feel on a bike and what you need. So having that, and then you come back here and you go, all right, I need this brakes, I need these wheels, I need this gearing, I need these bars, this engine I need for this race. And it's just like, I need all this. And then they're like, well, you don't race motocross or enduro anymore. And it's just like, but I need to train. I only got to that level because I did all these other things. It's like, you take that away from me and you're not going to get me what I was at the start. I've had 2 years of injuries. If I don't get everything I need to get back here, I'm going to just be an average Joe like the other fellas riding around. I've got the edge on everyone at the moment, I know, and I can have it, but I've got to work back up to that now.
Yeah, you need all them 1%ers in place when you're at the top.
It helps so much, and it takes so much stress and everything off you once everything's there and dialed. And for a company to spend another 50 grand on all these little bits and pieces, which make $1 billion a year, 50 grand's nothing, just to make sure everything's right, just to have a better chance of winning a championship or a Dakar rally. Why wouldn't you invest it in?
When you look at the overall investment, you think just this little bit extra will almost guarantee what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Exactly, where I've seen money get wasted so much, and it's so frustrating because you're like,
wasted on
with
what?
that test, I could have done so much this year with that money. I could have paid a whole mechanic that year just to follow me around and train and race and do everything.
So you don't get in trouble, but wasted money where?
Oh, just testing really. Like if if they've got an idea of something on the bike and we've gone away testing and some things weren't. I don't think some things are controlled properly and no one's overlooking it all properly. Where it's not, spot on. So I just seen money go. Like I just know how much it's cost.
Yeah.
And I've seen how much money and what we achieved in that week of testing. And you just pull your hair out and just go, why? But anyway, that's what they planned and that's what they wanted to do. And it, might not have been the right direction, but I think some of it was pointless to do even as well.
Gotcha. So this was you actually testing to just set up what they wanted to do?
Yeah, like whether it was with a new bike or a new development on the bike or suspension testing or some parts or bits and pieces, yeah.
Sometimes you feel like there's just a budget that has to be spent.
And some people got a job where they think they've always just got to make something to test, otherwise they're out of a job. It's like, why try and fix something?
Sounds like
that's
the world's
not
just
broken?
making new rules all the time, implementing new things, keeping each other busy. It's good how it is.
But anyway, that's I'd hate to know, Formula One and even MotoGP. I know how much money they blow there, but it's peanuts for what we're playing with. And what I need, it's not much I'm asking for. It's just I know what I need to be the best.
Yeah.
Like, and it's coming around now. Like, I've got a couple good opportunities this year to bring a couple guys into the team to help develop the bike and help me set up the bike and go the right direction. So
yeah, cool.
Hopefully it works.
Well, you've definitely got the credibility to listen to, because any challenge you take on, you usually achieve it within a year or two.
Yeah, I've done Dakar, three times now. I haven't achieved it yet, but come close in the second and third.
I mean, your first year was
fourth, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was lucky.
Like
I was winging it.
Things out of your control.
Yeah,
like won it the second. Now, I'd say.
Could have won it last year. I got that food poisoning, and the other year I had a really good chance of winning it and blew my elbow out. Like, I was winning it as well, and I was sitting third in that day, a couple of minutes behind. But yeah, that Dakar race isn't the fastest guy that wins, unfortunately, and you got to have a lot of things go your way. So
we'll wrap her up here in a minute, mate. We've got a few quicker questions for you. Spent a lot of time with Ricky Carmichael. How's that?
Yeah,
I see you stir him up a little bit. Must be a good relationship.
He's pretty good, eh? Yeah, I met him over here when he did a rally with Fox here. Just a video content shoot, and just good dude. Like, so funny, like super smart ass. Like, he's got some good funny sayings, and
he seems to be really cool with the camera off,
quirky.
2 beers.
Yeah, so good. Like, and that's where you'd never see it, and that's what I love. You see him as a kid racing, and it's just like, just his mental focus, and now that's all switched off and done, and that's what I look forward to. Like, I've played up a bit the last few years, but with this rally life, but like once you're done, it's like, that's awesome. Like, to go off and have fun and be public, I guess, a bit more. It's a bit of a different path what he has, a rock star life, to what we are, and just in the desert chasing camels. No one knows who you are. He's a wicked dude, and it's awesome to have someone like that, and you could bounce ideas off, or you could see and you can understand how he performed. That's cool. Yeah, there's a big difference between being a professional and just being your own personality. Yeah, that's for sure. It's like he had that personality, being so straight face and that, because he wanted it. Yeah, he just didn't want to lose. You said in a Red Bull interview, hopefully in 10 years I'll have ticked everything off that I want to achieve. Care to share? What's that? Everything. Just a couple Dakar wins would be nice, mate. Couple Dakar wins? Yeah, I think that. I still want to do an outdoor motocross in America. I'd love to see you do that. Yeah, I still want to do that. I believe I could have gone top 10 when I was there training. I had the pace to do it. I knew what I could have done then. Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't allowed. So hopefully, probably not this year, going off the leg. But yeah, look, I'm going to have to get it next year. I'll be 30, so it's going to have to happen soon. But yeah, I want to obviously do that, a Dakar win, and look, that's all I'm focused on at the moment, and just put some money in the bank and set myself up. That's what we want to do. Now, I do have a present. Yeah. Want to go and grab the utensils, Jackson? Maybe just hide it on your way in. It's in there somewhere. It's a blast from the past. All right, I'm interested to see. I'm curious, you don't remember it? You was obsessed. Oh, I can't. It was all you ever wanted. It wasn't apples, but it was second to apples. Oh, if I'm thinking what it is. It's got to be rank by the time you got it here then. Rank? Rank. Oh, I don't know if it's I don't even want to look at it, but if it's KFC. No, it's KFC. Yeah, we're no stranger to KFC, yeah, that's for sure. Well, if it wasn't apples, I don't know what else it is. Oh, yeah, well, Jackson's got a deal for you. So you're a big fan of these. Do I have to look now? Yeah. Oh, shit. Mate, these went out. These went out with my diet when I cut sugar out. They were hard to find. They're not around too much anymore. I used to have this on everything, eh? You did? Old fairy bread. I think the first meal you ever gave me was a plate of bread with butter covered in those. They were good, though. They got us through. Jeez, my teeth don't miss them, though. And the fillings at the dentist. You used to go through about one of them a day, right? Yeah, I used to get a bread roll, bite of both sides, slap them in, and just bang. So good. Got to have it. As a kid, that's what skyrocketed me at parties. The sugar load just... That is true. We used to go in the vans and a few hundreds of thousands. They're cordial. That's it. Righto, mate. Well, that'll wrap us up. Any leaving thoughts? Oh, it's pretty easy. Give us a hot take. A hot take? Hot take. Oh, watch this space, mate. Watch this space. Watch it. What about Vince Freeze? Freezy. Ah, I wish I could. I hope he does motocross or something. It would be nice to race him. I wish, yeah, he's still causing havoc, which is good to see, but I'm waiting for someone to clean him out. Like,
I heard he was your favourite rider. But.
Freezy. Look, I just don't want him to like mess up one of my mates. Like, and look, I was so happy when Willsy pumped him, but he just didn't hit him hard enough. And then Willsy didn't know it was coming, and I was like, he didn't cover that inside. I was like, oh, he's gonna get smacked here, and he did.
It's a game you're gonna lose playing with Vince. He is actually pretty damn good.
Look, I'll give him that. He can freaking block a corner and take someone out, which is great. But when he's nowhere near the front and he's messing with the big dogs, I'd be furious. Like, they're paying, the paydays for them. It's their professional career, and old mate's just there. I don't know. It's just I don't know. But then again, like, some riders have different mindsets. Like, some guys put a helmet on and just go into a fruit nut job and clean out, take the helmet off, and the nicest guy ever.
You got to think too, like, racing ends one day, and probably through Vince's actions, he'll save not having to go and get a normal job for an extra 2-3 years for all the blocks and.
Mate, imagine how many hot schools he's going to be running, like, just.
But it's just like the prize money he's probably made in, like, just not letting riders pass, and everyone hates him. But
yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he could retire and live out out in Texas on a big farm somewhere and not have to put up with that anyone again.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, but I'm not condoning
Vince is just doing Vince stuff, so good on him.
Righto, mate. We'll wrap it up. Actually, before we wrap it up, are you doing Hattah and Finke? What's your plans this year?
No, Finke can go jump off into the Bermuda Triangle, whatever that thing's called. That thing's dead to me. But, like, good people up there, and I did enjoy it up there. But the race, until things change up there, like, medical-wise, like, there needs to be a better support for medical. So helicopters, there's massive crashes, serious injuries. And prize money goes up, but no extra supports. Not prize money, that doesn't go up.
Costs,
all the costs go up. All the hotels go up, double. Foods, fuels double. Everything's ridiculous that week of the race. Entry fees go up.
They put it up for the race.
Yeah.
Dirty dogs.
Yeah, everything. So anyway, it doesn't help everyone traveling there, and don't want to rag it out, but it's just like it needs to change, and without people listening and the committees, they got to listen to the influencers, mate. That's where it's at. That's like, you guys want promotion and riders to go there, then make it right. It's like, and Hattah is so big now, it's going to be the biggest moto event in Australia now. Like, it kills it. Like, I love that area. I love the people up there too. And that can still be better. It's just like, they need to get out of that, locked into their own sort of Mildura area, and open it up, bring in, proper management people and grow it, get it big.
So you mean it's got overseas riders?
Yeah, overseas riders too. I know people that are keen, like people from my team want to do it. But like, it's got that potential to go bigger. Like, it's already huge.
So you're saying it could be like a world stage event?
Yeah.
Basically, like on the world calendar.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. They're already doing the beach race cup thing. Like in Le Takei, Western Beach race, they've just had one in Argentina, a massive race. Why not make Hattah bigger and better? Like, it can expand. And it's a whole family event. School holidays, all the kids' families are there. It's the best weekend on a motorbike in Australia, I think. The best event on a moto.
I'd agree for sure. Yeah. Even if you go there and lose and you suck, you still have a great time.
You
can't say that about
it's a challenge. Like, it is brutal. People don't think, and then they go, yeah, but it's got nothing on Hattah now. Like, I'm the high speed in that because you're risking more up there, but what it takes to actually get around the Hattah track, it's brutal.
Yeah.
You know it. You know what it feels like.
Yeah.
I'd like to make Hattah, if I can get, back to 100% or close to.
Yep.
I'd love to do it again.
Yep.
I'll put my name on the entry, and hopefully everything goes well with the bikes, parts, the bone, the body. I'll try and get to the start line again, run my own race team again. Love it.
Legend. What would you do it on? Rally bike or?
Shit, no. I'd do it on a 500.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd test the new 450 and 500, the motocross 450, and see where it's at. Yeah. 500, the torque just kills it. Like, I rode the 450 there because GASGAS didn't have the 500, and the 450, just the torque just lost it.
Yeah.
Full
okay.
factory engine, the top speed was unreal, but it just didn't have that 500 torque, and that's what you need in the desert just to pull you out of that sand.
Gotcha.
Third, fourth gear, just wah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just fat boy bike, mate. Just sit back and
Sit on the
hold
back.
it on.
Very good, mate.
Right up.
Legend.
No
Appreciate
worries.
it.
Cheers.